Good morning and welcome to the December monthly member briefing. I am Thomas Deere, the Vice President of Sales and Engagement at the Chamber, and I have the privilege of being your host. A big thank you to each of you for joining us today, and thank you so much for your partnership and your membership. These sessions are designed to provide you with the information, the solution, and the connections needed to keep your businesses thriving. Today, you have joined in listen-only mode with your microphones and cameras muted. We do encourage you to ask questions, and please ask questions throughout the program using Zoom's chat box. We have an incredible lineup today, so let's get going. On behalf of the Chamber, I want to thank Bank of America for sponsoring our November and today's monthly member briefings. Bank of America is one of our Momentum investors and has been a Chamber member and supporter for over 20 years. We greatly appreciate their partnership, and we look forward to bringing these events to you with their support. I'd like to introduce Mark Ryan, the new president of the Cincinnati market at Bank of America. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Thomas. Really appreciate the warm welcome. What a great agenda you and Jill have put together today. We are thrilled to be partner with you, the Chamber, and support the monthly member briefings. As you mentioned, these programs have been such a valuable platform for our Chamber members and our greater Cincinnati business community, as they provided timely insights, access, business solutions, and connections during these challenging times. I am thrilled to be the first president of Bank of America Cincinnati, as it was announced in early October. I am also the market executive and managing director for Merrill Lynch Wealth Management business in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and Dayton. I returned to Cincinnati in 2017 with my family after spending 22 years in Chicago with Merrill. As it was a return home for me, it was a new adventure for my wife and two sons. They cannot be happier to call Cincinnati home. Bank of America has been part of the Cincinnati market and community for over 100 years. We have over 360 employees and looking to grow that number substantially. Since 2018, our company has made commitments to expand our consumer business in Cincinnati and over the entire state of Ohio. We had one ATM in Cincinnati in 2018, and today we have 82. In 2019, we opened our first financial consumer center and now have 16, and with 5 more to open and advanced centers to open in 2022. As I mentioned, I'm very excited to be the first president named for Cincinnati market, and we look forward to serving our clients, customers, and businesses while growing our presence and working with all of you to continue to make Cincinnati a great place that we all call home. Now I'd like to turn it over to Jill. I'm pleased to turn things over to Jill Meyer, President and CEO of the Cincinnati U.S. Regional Chamber. Good morning, Jill, and great seeing you again.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you again so much for your support and for Bank of America's really great partnership on this program. And good morning to everyone for joining us this morning for our last member briefing of the calendar year. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday as we roll into this last month of what I think will be another year for the history books. We are looking forward to jumping in today. I have just 3 brief updates for you because we are super eager to get to our guest speaker this morning. First up, I hope everybody saw over the Thanksgiving weekend the announcement of our 2022 Great Living Cincinnatians. We're thrilled that in February, we will be honoring Donna Jones Baker, Jean-Robert de Caval, Dr. Charles Dillard, and Roger Howe at our annual dinner, which is back in person this year. Another thing that we're thrilled about, we're so glad that we will be able to gather on February the 24th. And we hope that you will gather with us. So put it on your calendars. It's always everybody's favorite event of the year. Next up is just a couple of weeks away, and that is our annual Fifth Third Bank Diversity Leadership Symposium. Again, back in person from 8 a.m. until noon on December the 15th. We'll be gathering at the Duke Energy Convention Center this year. And we are always really proud of the conversation that happens in that event. It is the region's largest business gathering focused on inclusion, diversity, and belonging in all of our workplaces and across our community. And again, this year, we have just a stellar lineup of speakers to lead those conversations. So we hope you will join us as you did virtually last year, back in person this year. And finally, We are not slowing down, though it's December. 1 week from today is the final We Speak event. This one is focused on women breaking the mold, and we hope to see you there as well. We have our final leadership roundtable. That's taking place on December 10th, just about a week away. So if you're interested in either of those, hop onto our website. You can register there and learn more about both of those events. And with that, I am excited to get to introduce our keynote speaker this morning. As you saw on the agenda, we are so honored to be joined by Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. Governor Beshear is the 63rd governor of the Commonwealth, and he was elected governor in 2019 after serving as Kentucky's Attorney General since 2016. And I would say there's nothing like assuming the governorship and a few months later having a pandemic to deal with. And Governor Beshear was such a leader through the pandemic. Governor Beshear is a graduate of Vanderbilt University and attended law school at the University of Virginia before starting his successful law career in Kentucky. He and his wife, Brittany, are the proud parents of a son and a daughter. One last note before I turn the mic over, and I'm not sharing any new information with this group in saying that there's a little bridge that connects two of our three home states here in the Cincinnati region. Our Brent Spence bridge connecting Ohio and Kentucky has been making a lot of headlines recently. I should say a lot of maybe positive headlines again recently. And we are so pleased to know and to share with you that Governor Beshear and Governor DeWine and their respective teams at the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and ODOT have been working very closely together on finding solutions for our Brent Spence Bridge. What's important about that, aside from the obvious, is that they have us so well positioned to actually bring a solution to fruition for the bridge. And now that President Biden has signed that Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, we are really looking forward to seeing, might I say it, final progress on that project, as well as really so many others throughout the entire Cincinnati region. Governor Beshear, thank you for your leadership in that regard and so many others. And thank you for joining us this morning. We are eager to hear from you. Welcome.
Well, good morning, and to everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. You know, it's now December, so an exciting time of year. I want to thank Jill Meyer and all the Cincinnati Regional Chamber members for inviting this Kentucky boy to speak today, and for all the hard work you do every day to promote this crucially important economic and cultural region. Go Reds. Thanks for keeping folks' safety in mind during this meeting today. With the recent news of the Omicron variant, where we should be concerned, but we shouldn't panic, we once again are reminded that COVID-19 does remain a serious threat. So let's not forget that this evil virus has now taken more than 10,900 of my fellow Kentuckians far too soon. Now, my faith tells me that these are each irreplaceable children of God that are going to be missed by their families and their communities, and that so many people are still hurting. So let's respect these losses and those families left behind by doing everything we can to make sure we don't needlessly lose more people, and that we finally beat this thing and are able to move into our future. The best thing that we can do is we wait to get so much news, and it's almost like we're at the beginning of the pandemic when we've got to say, be patient and breathe. We will have the information and be transparent about it, but we know that getting vaccinated, and now especially getting your booster, is crucially important. Anybody who's put off that booster shot, I can tell you I know at least 10 folks in the last 3 weeks that had put it off and are now suffering or have suffered from COVID. So please go out and get that done as fast as you can. You know, when you run for governor, you don't anticipate governing through a historic time, but I think we are in fact all living through two historic moments, and they're actually overlapping. The first is dark and difficult. It's a once in a century pandemic that has brought pain and disruption to all of our lives. But remember, even as we see the darkness, the death, and that's truly what we're fighting here, it's humanity against death, there are so many bright spots. our healthcare heroes, our essential workers, so many getting up every day, sacrificing for other people, making decisions that save the lives of others around the region and around the country. Now, being a parent of two kids that had to be in remote learning at one point and now are thankfully back in the classroom, I look at them too. And while we worry rightfully about where they are scholastically, that generation is learning some special lessons too about how we are all connected, about how we all have to live for one another. And let's not discount that lesson could be an amazing lesson in selflessness versus selfishness for an entire generation that has saved lives through their sacrifice. And so while COVID is dark and difficult, and we're still fighting it, we're also living through an amazingly bright, optimistic, historic time that is just on the horizon. Here in Kentucky, it is one of economic progress and momentum, the likes of which we have never seen. Just this past, month and a half, we announced that we had broken, truly smashed every single economic development record for total investment in Kentucky. We're now over $10.4 billion in new investment in the Commonwealth. Truly exciting jobs. Everything from the largest investment in Western Kentucky in 25 years, which will be the cleanest, greenest recycled paper mill in the world, saving 10,000 plus trees every hour that it is in operation, to agriculture technology, the largest greenhouse in North America in Eastern Kentucky, growing tomatoes on top of abandoned coal mines. And then there was that September announcement, one that I almost didn't believe was real until we made it, which is the largest economic development announcement and investment project in our history. At nearly $6 billion and 5,000 new jobs, the Blue Oval SK Battery Park is going to make Kentucky, but I believe our entire region, the electric vehicle battery capital of the United States. And you know what? We should push on for the world. It is truly exciting. Now, Bill Ford Jr. in my office talked about how this was the biggest step in the automotive industry since the Model T. And this is the largest investment that they have ever made. Even better for all of us, because sometimes we look at what state it's in, but there is no battery supply chain in the United States. So whether it is this massive investment, we've never seen anything close to its size, or whether it's Toyota, who's been in Georgetown for 30 plus years, its first US facility ever, announcing a $460 million expansion, 1,400 new jobs to be in that EV market. I think this is a special time for our region that can lift everybody up, that can cement us as global leaders in jobs of the future. I know all of you, each and every day, work to attract jobs, but attracting those jobs that we know are going to be here for 30 years, for 50 years. That's truly exciting. And for us here in Kentucky, to be able to now say that we have Amazon's largest project in their company's history in Northern Kentucky, y'all know it well. And we're going to have Ford's largest project as well. It means that every boardroom across America knows where we are, and every country across this globe knows who we are and what we can do. That is a great testament to the people of Kentucky, that when these incredibly large companies are betting their future, they're willing to bet it on us. I'd like to take credit, but I shouldn't. It's our people. It's their ethos. It's the Team Kentucky concept, where we pledge to not just work with a company to get them here, but to get their project done, to get them first to market, and ultimately to be an ongoing partner. You know, when you move to this Commonwealth, you become a part of our great family. And we remember that every job that you create is a family in Kentucky that's better off, that has food on the table, that knows where their paycheck is coming from, but most importantly, to a dad like me, has an opportunity to create a better life for their kids. And what we are seeing out of our new corporate citizens and our existing ones is a desire to work with our state and their region for all of us to be better. whether that's seeking more renewable energy, whether that is more investment in our talented workforce, providing additional educational opportunities for our people. It is a really special time, I can tell you, as a governor, to be working with so many of you, because our goals, I think they've always been generally aligned, but they are aligned for such good reasons right now. And this journey we've been through in COVID, I think, has created an even closer relationship. I saw companies from hospitals to manufacturers truly do right by us as Americans, to make decisions that would have been crazy in other times, that absolutely would not help the bottom line, but were necessary, especially in the beginning of this pandemic, to protect your workers or to serve the people of this great country. We saw proof in our lifetime that regardless, we're willing to put everything on the back burner for one another. And that's given me a lot of faith in America, in corporate America, in all of us moving forward, even with the noise that's out there. And I know we focus on that noise because Facebook amplifies it so much. But let's remember that perspective tells us to look at the forest and not the trees. And we've already vaccinated more people in less than a year than ever in human history. It's available everywhere, which means we've accomplished the single largest logistics challenge since World War II. We have all, as a people, done amazing things together. Yes, our work is not yet done, but we ought to be proud of what we've accomplished and how we did it. And we ought to make sure that we pay a little of that forward. That we realize we can do great things together when we're talking and working with one another. And none of the things that are most important to us, life and death, health, education, is red or blue, Democrat or Republican. It's just good for our families. It's right versus wrong. And if we can, again, take that and move forward with it, the way that Governor DeWine and I have been able to work together and to communicate together. And I want to give him a lot of credit. And I hope that creates a way forward for our country where we can not only thrive, but we're not yelling at each other all the time. That's not how I was raised. And I know it's not how you all were raised either. And there's more good news in front of us. There is the second tranche of American Rescue Plan Act dollars. I know here in Kentucky, we've invested in water and sewer projects. I have gotten to meet families that are going to get clean water to their home for the first time. Yeah, listen, in the year 2021, there shouldn't be any families that don't have water that come directly to their home, but it's pretty special when you can provide it for the first time. It's hundreds of millions of dollars into broadband, the infrastructure of the future, and we've all got to carefully deploy that in the years to come. And then there is the federal infrastructure bill. And I think Kentucky and Ohio probably worked harder through various folks, governors, senators, than anybody else in the country to get this passed, and I am thrilled. It's going to mean so much. For Kentucky, it's going to be about an extra $170 million a year in our road plan for regular roads and bridges. It's 600 and something million over 5 years for water and sewer. There's more money for internet, to expand electric vehicle charging network, to make our grid more resilient, to help our people not suffer from flooding in the same degree that they have, to help our major airports to take steps even further, our ports, to make sure that we have build-ready sites. This is how we take one really good year of economic development and turn it into decades of prosperity, because that is where we are. We are at a chance to provide an era, a true era of prosperity to our kids and our grandkids. And making wise investments now when these federal dollars are coming is how we ensure that our region is never a flyover region, is never looked down upon, but is the destination about where people want to come to live and work, and where companies want to set up because they know they can thrive. This post-COVID economy is going to be different. Water drying up in the West, and with people in our largest cities wondering if that's where they want to be, we in this region have a chance to leapfrog so many others and to truly lead in our economy, our values, and our way of life. And now I know there's one project of particular importance, not only to the folks that live in this region, but it should be our entire country because its economic health depends on it. And I'm talking, of course, about the Brent Spence Bridge. Nearly 60 years old, it is an important bridge that is a crucial link connecting the South, Midwest, and Eastern United States that has so much of our GDP that crosses it every single day. We know how important it is because I remember a fiery wreck that made us very concerned and resulted in a closure for a period of time. I'm happy to say we came in ahead of schedule and under budget, but it was another reminder of how critical this is. Here's where I think we are. If we can get the type of award I think that we should under the federal infrastructure bill, I believe that we are going to be able to build that companion bridge, do this project without tolls. I believe that that is right in front of us. It does, and it is somewhat dependent on getting the amount we believe that we can, but this is the closest that we have ever been, and it is right there in front of us. And I'm here to tell you, I think it's gonna happen. And I'm doing everything that I can, talking to every person that I can. I did it leading up to the passage of this bill, both talking with some of the folks that are on the phone today, as well as being relentless with other leaders in Washington. I want to get this done. I want to break ground on this thing in my first term as governor. I want to see it completed while I'm governor. And I know that's a really aggressive schedule, but this is so important to the people of this region and to all of us here in Kentucky. I want you to know I am absolutely committed to getting it done. It is time. And listen, I want to be the Kentucky governor that's able to do it. I want this to be the federal administration that gets it done. And we are seeing such bipartisan support. Governor DeWine, Senator Portman, Senator McConnell. You know, Senator McConnell and I aren't always on the same page, but we are absolutely together on this one. And I appreciate his vote to get this project done. And we're seeing so much success in Northern Kentucky right now as well in terms of economic development. Everything from Progressive Life a little over a year ago to Fidelity's new announcement of hiring 600 plus to Dollar General and their continued expansion in the region, but especially in Northern Kentucky. And I've got to thank everybody, all of our leaders in the region, from leaders of Covington and Newport to the economic development engines that are up there, to our corporate citizens, to everybody at Triad. You all have been doing such an amazing job, because I think we all realize that this is the moment. 30 years from now, we'll be looking back on and say that everything changed. And it was the moment where, again, we became the leader and not the follower. You know, in Kentucky right now, we got a saying, our time is here. Our future is now. This is the time where we grasp our destiny. And, you know, for us in Kentucky, it's a pretty simple dream. Regardless of whether you're from the East or the West or from the North, our dream has always been that our kids and our grandkids will never have to leave this state or the region they're from, because every opportunity isn't available to them. As a parent, that's all I can ask for, and that's all I can work for. So I am thrilled to be with you today. I'm thrilled about where we're going. I really want to get that FIFA game up there in Cincinnati, and I look forward to working with y'all for years to come.
Governor, thank you so much. So many of your comments had me cheering, unseen by anyone, but doing my own little happy cheer here for you. I will start with a quick thank you. Your partnership with Governor DeWine and all of the work that you have been doing to position us on the Brent Spence Bridge, for sure, has been so greatly appreciated. And I know there are oodles of other projects. You referenced some of them that our region stands to gain with this new influx of dollars into our economies. I would love, you used the phrase, we're headed to an era of prosperity. And I think that's such a great way to capture the opportunity that we are collectively looking at to forever change the generations who follow, the opportunities for them. I wonder if you could answer two questions that are related for me in that front. On the phone with us this morning are Candace and Seth from CVG Airport. And you don't have to look far or spend much time over there to see the just vast difference that is providing the boost for our economy. And I wonder if you could talk about the importance of innovation. We see it alive and well there in a big way, and it's in other places. So the importance of innovation, and then a closely related question for us at the Chamber is, how do we attract and keep the talent that we need to keep driving that innovation?
Well, when you talk about innovation, that CVG Airport, I mean, what an incredible example. If you're like me, growing up in the region where you had to fly through CVG on Delta, whether you were in Lexington or Louisville or anywhere else, you know, we've seen almost a resurrection in that airport and what it does to be able to take that blow. And we all as a region had a significant blow in Delta, moving that regional headquarters out, to be where we are now with Amazon's single largest project in their history. We just operationalized it this year, 2,000 jobs that they are hiring. DHL going strong in that airport, more commercial and passenger traffic picking up. It's a real testament to Candace and her team, and they're not done innovating. We've had great conversations about the future of air travel and how we can be a leader, whether it's in R&D or other areas. So sometimes the most important thing to do as governor is to listen, is to recognize a good idea and then try to work with our leaders out there to ultimately grasp it. But I think right now, what we have to do most on innovation is be forward looking, knowing that so much is changing. We've never seen as much investment as is going on right now in real shifts in our economy in so many different areas about where we're going. And so I think we have to recognize that there's great opportunity there, but there's also concern for displacement, right? When you're Kentucky and you've experienced the shift in the energy economy and it's devastated one of your regions, it means we can't be behind any of these trends. If we are, we don't just not get the new jobs, but we potentially lose really important jobs too. So I think it's really important on innovation that we listen, we talk, we're forward looking, and we never stop, right? You just keep hustling, you know, every single moment, knowing not every idea is going to work out, but we've got to be working 100 ideas all at the same time. And I guess it's now a positive term, disruption, in a disruptive manner as we move forward. When we talk about attracting jobs, I do feel like we've got a good approach at the moment. A whole lot of that is Team Kentucky, and it's an ethos that we've adopted in our government that is the ethos of so much of corporate America, in that you really need partners in your company and outside of it that aren't 1 day or 2 days. It's your banking relationship often. It's so many relationships that have to come together to make especially these big steps work. I know for me, I do about 6 calls a week with our existing businesses here in Kentucky to make sure that we're continuing to be good partners each and every day. Now, attracting talent to the region. And I think that's happening. We just moved a company from LA to Somerset, right? We've moved companies before from LA to Louisville or LA to Cincinnati, but LA to Somerset. So we're sitting at this time where more is possible, especially with what we've collectively lived through than ever before. But certainly on training and on increasing our workforce, we've got to do things that we have never done before, whether it is childcare or retirements of our boomers or disability. We have so many different complex issues that are hitting our labor market. We can't just run our same old programs where we train people in program X and hope they find employer Y and come together after a job fair or interviews. So we launched something, a pilot called Everybody Counts in Louisville a couple of weeks ago, where our job is for every graduating senior of our largest school system. They are already accepted into a higher education program, or a certificate program and have the dollars and scholarship, or we place them in a job before they graduate. We have our largest employers that have bought in, from Ford to GE to UPS and others. And the concept there is this is a group we can't lose for so many different reasons. I will say we started it really fast because we don't want to lose this senior class. We're going to learn a lot from it, but it's an attempt to do something different, to try something different. And each one of these companies, to their credit, Kroger is another great partner. Each one a great Cincinnati company, to their credit, and Kroger was especially great about this, are going to have a program for each of these students to pursue further education once they have their job, while they have their job, when they're ready. So again, I think we've got to be really innovative, knowing that our current programs aren't going to cut it, and we've got to do things differently.
Thank you, Governor. We have just a couple of minutes, but a question has come in that I think is important just to put it in front of you and let you know we're thinking about this. I'm going to read it. Good morning, Governor Beshear. This is Dr. Jeff Bill with the Sunrise Treatment Center. We're looking forward to bringing a new treatment model for people struggling with opioid use disorder to the state of Kentucky. So many patients struggling with this disease are covered by state benefits. What other changes do you think would be helpful within that system to make sure Kentuckians have access to care?
Certainly the opioid or the addiction crisis is one of the most difficult that we face. If you live here in Kentucky, or certainly in the region, you know, not one, but a number of people that we've lost, people that we care about, and that we have to ensure we don't lose more in the future. It's really exciting to see the innovation in the recovery community, and it's incredible when an individual is able to overcome addiction, or at least be in recovery, and they choose to share, continue to share their story and maybe even their pain with others to help them out. What I think is critical is we have as many different forms of recovery and of treatment as possible, because I think everybody's addiction can be a little bit different. And, you know, there are so many different underlying issues that we need to help people with to help them overcome, and so many holes we need to fill in on the other side, employment being a big one, especially for those that have been incarcerated, second chance employment being critical, housing, continued recovery community. And so, you know, it's a place where we do have to invest more. And at a time when we have more jobs than people, it's never been more important to have those second chance opportunities. So we are always open to listening to new models. They need to be scientifically proven, obviously, and to be able to help our people. But this is one of our next great challenges. And it's not just a moral challenge, because it is. It is absolutely a moral challenge where we're trying to save lives and souls. But it's also an economic challenge where if we are going to reach our destiny as a region of being a leader, we got to get our people better.
So many opportunities ahead. Governor Beshear, you have captured so many of them in your comments this morning. We couldn't be more excited about what is happening in Kentucky and our partnership with so many across that region. We're grateful for your leadership and again for your time here this morning. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. And we hope your December is as fun and eventful as ours is up ahead. Thank you, Governor. Have a great day.
Thank you. And let's get that World Cup game.
Let's do it. Bye-bye.
Governor Beshear, thank you for your time today. It's greatly appreciated. What an exciting time. I believe we can all agree the future is now. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce two chamber members who have been making an impact on the community. This morning, you'll hear from Crystal Kendrick from the Voice of Your Customer and Brad Knieven from Tier 1 Performance. First up is Crystal Kendrick, President of the Voice of Your Customer and Leadership Cincinnati Class of 37. The Voice of Your Customer is a minority-owned marketing consulting firm established in 2007 by marketing veteran Crystal Kendrick. The Voice of Your Customer was born from her dream and passion for assisting business leaders to better engage hard to reach, niche, and underserved populations. They use research, secret shopping, outreach campaigns, and call center to engage hard to reach populations. Clients include federal, state, regional, and local government and quasi-government agencies, non-for-profit organizations, businesses, corporations, healthcare providers, and educational institutions. And if Crystal didn't have enough on her plate, she's also the founder and publisher of the Voice of Black Cincinnati. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the warm introduction. I really appreciate it. I am a longtime supporter of all things Cincinnati Chamber. You have been a tremendous help to our business, and we look forward to continued partnership with your organization. Spencer, if you wouldn't mind to go to the, we've gone over that slide. If you don't mind to move to the next slide. So as it was mentioned, the Voice of Your Customer offers a spectrum of services that allows organizations to understand and respond to every aspect of their clients' needs. Our work includes surveys, interviews, focus groups, and mock juries. However, in the world of big data today, we also offer literature reviews, data analysis, and social listening. The Voice of Your Customer provides secret shopping services as well. While most of my friends thinks this means perusing high-end retailers to ensure the champagne is adequately chilled, our work is much more intense and often held to legal scrutiny. Essentially, we document the experiences of customers using mystery observations, competitor analysis, discrimination testing, compliance, audits, and deceptive marketing practices. You will be amazed at what you will learn when you truly put yourself in the shoes of your customers. The Voice of Your Customer also manages media and outreach campaigns that combine advertising and public relations with community outreach initiatives such as influencers, street teams, call center services, and curated distribution lists. At times, our non-traditional and unconventional approaches seemed risky to our clients. But today, those approaches are described as authentic, engaging, and even real as it relates to diverse audiences, and have even won us regional and national awards. An organization can begin its journey to authentic customer engagement anywhere in the spectrum, depending on the immediate needs of the organization and the strategic goals of the team. We are here to help. Here at the Voice of Your Customer, we thank our clients every chance we get. Government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and local businesses have trusted us with the responsibility of guiding their client relationships since 2007, and we do not take that lightly. As a small minority and woman-owned business, we go to market as a prime contractor and as a subcontractor to larger firms needing additional capacity, expertise engaging diverse audiences, and economic inclusion. As you'll see on the next slide, last but not least, I would like to introduce you to our media company, the Voice of Black Cincinnati. For years, the Voice of Your Customer struggled to get positive Black news in local media. Black families in Cincinnati told us they did not routinely experience the best of the city, and that was often promoted in national media. And we heard from Black families who relocated to the Queen City that they struggled to find culturally competent resources. For this reason, we launched the Voice of Black Cincinnati, a media company designed to educate, recognize, and create opportunities for African Americans in the region. The media company includes a website with Black news, a database of locally owned Black businesses, a community calendar of culturally competent events, and a jobs board for equal opportunity employers. I have spoken to many of the affinity groups associated with the corporate members of the Chamber who believe that the Voice of Black Cincinnati has been a tremendous resource for African Americans in their company and in the region. Today, our reach includes 1 million website page views annually, more than 30,000 social media followers, 11,000 newsletter subscribers, and 5,000 text subscribers. In my last slide, it concludes our presentation. The Voice of Your Customer and the Voice of Black Cincinnati are here to help you. Feel free to contact us at any time to learn more about our services and how we can work together as a prime contractor or a subcontractor to engage your clients authentically. Thank you to the Cincinnati Chamber for this opportunity.
Crystal, thank you so much for your presentation. And I think people have to ask, are you prepared to hear the voice of your customer? I think that answer is yes. So thank you today. Thank you for the insight and all the great information. And thank you for being our partner.
Thank you.
Next up is Brad Knieven, client partner and principal at Tier 1 Performance and Leadership Cincinnati class of 45, which I understand is the best class.
Absolutely.
Could be a rumor. I may be in that class. Tier 1 has been a chamber member since 2015 and is one of our momentum investors. Tier 1 activates strategy through people. They bridge the gap between strategy development and strategy execution. Tier 1 consults, designs, and builds solutions focused on building happier, healthier, and a more engaged employees to help them do their best work. Their purpose is to help people in an employee-owned firm, and they embrace their core values: high performance, initiative, accountability, value, and fun. Welcome, Brad.
Thanks, Thomas. Well, you kind of opened up my beginning slide. It's good to be with everyone this morning. Thank you to Chamber, sponsors, Bank of America, and certainly a privilege to be spotlighted here with Governor Beshear this morning. So at Tier 1 Performance, strategy activation through people. And as Tom said, we believe we exist to help people do their best work, that people were created to do work, created to do great work and want to do the great work. So we show up in the marketplace with this idea of bridging the gap between strategy formulation, all the great plans your organizations will have and develop, and then how it shows up day to day with your people, your employees, the roles, the tasks, and then ultimately with your customers. And considering people being one of our greatest assets, if not our greatest asset, we think it's a worthy cause to invest there. So if we go to the next slide for me. So from a little company or a company may not have known, and a scrappy startup in Covington about 20 years ago, we're now expanded nationally across, working globally, but certainly a footprint nationally here, probably 175 folks in the greater Cincinnati area, and growing quite a bit recently, like many other firms are. One thing to highlight here is that we are certified B Corp, which is a pretty cool experience. If anyone knows what that is, as Tom mentioned, it is the idea of, think about it, fair trade for corporations, or organic, certified organic for a corporate entity. So we really care and believe that a business can exist to serve people, and not necessarily the other way around, that people exist to serve businesses. So something we're very proud of, an expression of who we are as an organization. And again, and like Tom said as well, kind of matches up with this idea that we are an employee-owned firm that believes in the long-term relationship, long-term value, and growth for everyone. So if we go to the next slide. You may not have heard of us, but a lot of these brands do. A lot of national brands here, I'm sure you recognize, and they continue to trust in the work we do. And across some of the buzzwords that I talked about here, strategy activation, I want to show you, if you hit the next slide, exactly what I'm talking about. So this idea at the center of organizations, we generally see there's probably 4 big areas that companies are trying to move in. One being talent strategies, those talent strategies, workforce development, performance development, talent acquisition, operational, whether it be supply chain, logistics, service and support, growth strategies. Maybe it's the acquisition of a new product, development of a new product, launch, or transformation, be it digital transformation, some type of systems transformation. There's so much of that occurring. But in these 4 categories, you can find that a big component of the success of them is going to be how they show up in how the workforce comes along that journey of change and bring along that journey of change. So a couple more specific ways to consider, if you'll click to the next slide. In detail, some of them look like systems adoption. We got digital transformation systems coming across our ecosystem everywhere. And we know that something like the Field of Dreams, just because you build it, the people don't always come. Spreadsheets remain, old systems remain. I don't want to use this, and jobs change. And it's like putting on a new pair of shoes. You know, it can show up with blisters on the front side if we don't take it easy or help people get through that change. But once we do, it can really return some value. And along with some of the talent growth and certainly culture that fit into some of this. And then on the last slide, Spencer, thank you. A big one we're seeing today is this customer experience, just to call that out. You know, how's Delta having their Sky Club ambassadors show up? What's that brand experience going to look like? It's going to drive it forward. Certainly learning and performance. You know, the governor spoke about the workforce transformation, the efforts that are happening across our state, and how we can shift large workforces that have a particular skill set, or organizations want to come in but need to transition, you know, while maybe not showing up outside of the organizations, but inside of the organizations, of helping them scale quickly, onboard quickly, and move folks from a point of entry into the business to a place of real competence and proficiency in their roles, and accelerating that. And thirdly, or lastly, this merger and acquisition space. We know there's a lot of movement right now within businesses, and the ways that we help that succeed are in this cultural integration. Cultural integration being one of the biggest barriers to most, I'd say, you know, that's the majority reason that's the barrier to success for most acquisitions. And so when we get a chance to get in there and help find that third new way forward, we tend to find a lot more return on the investments that those organizations are seeking and looking for. So I appreciate it to be with you this morning. Again, Brad Knieven from Tier 1 Performance. Based in Covington, Kentucky, but excited to be working across Kentucky, Ohio, and the rest of the country.
Thank you, Brad. I couldn't agree more. People are the heart of the business, and it shows in Tier 1's culture. Thank you to Tier 1 and yourself. Thank you.
Thanks.
I want to thank these members for being part of our monthly member briefing. If you're interested in taking part of a future monthly member briefing, please go to cincinnatiChamber.com/monthly member briefings and submit an interest form, or you can easily reach out to me at tdeer@cincinnatiChamber.com. Shifting gears, the Cincinnati Regional Chamber has a total of 10 benefit partners that enhance your business on an everyday basis. For our benefit partner, we're thrilled to have Monica Colbert, consumer engagement professional with Humana. Humana is a strong legacy partner. They provide competitive medical, dental, vision, life, and wellness products to our members through the Chamber Health Program. Humana strives to be the leading health and well-being company focused on making it easy for people to achieve their best health through a coordinated care approach. Members located in Ohio can save up to 20% on health insurance with Chamber Health and Humana's Go 365 Health and Wellness Program. It's my pleasure to welcome Monica Colbert. Monica.
Thank you so much for having me this morning to talk a little bit about stress. So discussions on stress are not new, but stress does remain a relevant topic, especially when the most wonderful time of the year can quickly become the most stressful time of the year. Can advance the slide. Before we talk about the harmful effects of stress and ways to avoid those, let's talk about good stress. Did you even know that some stress can be good? Good stress is felt when you achieve a goal, or you get off the airplane for your long anticipated vacation, or when you ride a roller coaster. You're happy and alive and excited about life. Unfortunately, in today's world, stress often means physical or mental strain or pressure caused by negative and demanding situations that can leave you feeling anxious and worried, powerless, irritable, angry, and confused. There are some unhealthy ways that are very common to deal with stress, and those include overeating and drinking and smoking. These unhealthy habits, combined with the physiological effects of stress, can lead to some serious health issues like high blood pressure and headaches, weight gain, lack of focus, fatigue, and more. In the workplace, chronic stress can reduce productivity, it can increase absenteeism, employee burnout, turnover, increased medical expenses, and increased health insurance costs. It's well worth the time to review the causes of stress and ways to manage it and healthy behaviors to adopt. The possible stressors, you can go back one slide, please. The possible stressors at work may be a high workload or changes in the organization or the organization's culture. Sometimes the operating style, the emphasis on competition, fear of job loss, or changing technology. To find the cause of stress in your group, take some time to speak with your employees. The conversations could be one-on-one or in small groups, and listen to what they have to say. Also, observe the trends during high stress periods and try to identify the link between the situation and the increased stress. To reduce identified stress in the workplace and help build resilience in your employees, make steps to give them some control over their work, as feelings of being powerless can increase stress levels. Involve your employees as much as possible in setting goals and making decisions and solving problems. Be sure to be clear about performance expectations and supply them with the resources they need to get their job done. Clearly communicate about changes when they occur and how the changes may affect them. Considering offering training programs on stress management techniques and time management, or even relaxation and positive thinking. One of the most important things you can do is to be a role model. Demonstrate good coping and stress reduction behaviors to everyone around you. And finally, encourage self-care efforts and use your company's employee assistance program. The extensive Humana employee assistance program is included with your chamber health benefit plans. No matter what the songs on the radio say, the holiday season isn't always merry and bright. It can be expensive and tense. There's no place like home for the holidays, but what if being home with your family makes you want to dash through the snow? It might be the time to adjust some expectations and your attitude. Your family isn't perfect, and neither is anyone else's. Think about your family gatherings if it was a sitcom, and try to find the humor in the situation. Try to get to know a family member better, and maybe you'll get to know somebody that you've known your whole life in a whole different way. If family gatherings are just too much, plan a short stay or take a break and take a walk in the middle of it if you need to. And there's no need to ruin your financial health this month. Set a budget for holiday spending before it starts. Pay with cash and avoid large credit card bills. Remember, gift giving should be about appreciation and not competition. Create some non-gift giving traditions like a car trip to see Christmas lights or family movie night or volunteer together. And try not to think about the holidays as a time where things you have to do. Rethink your routine and take part in activities that are meaningful and that you want to do and bring you joy. It may be time to start a new tradition. Celebrations can be enjoyable without being elaborate. No matter what the situation or the season, keep these tips in mind to help you reduce your stress level. As soon as possible, get back on your normal schedule. Eat healthy foods, take time to get enough rest, and make time for exercise, even if it's only for a short session. There's a reason that you hear these things all the time, because they work. Reach out to your supportive friends and family members and have a chat or dinner. Make use of your employee assistance program. You might be surprised at the helpful resources you find. I hope you all enjoy the festivities of the season and taking time to take care of yourself.
Thank you, Monica. For more information on Chamber Health or Humana, I encourage you to reach out to Monica. There's no risk in reaching out. There's no risk in a free analysis. Thank you to Monica and Humana for your partnership. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about some activities we have at the Chamber. With infrastructure and transportation top of mind with our conversation with Governor Beshear, our director of the Connected Region, Pete Metz, who I think you've seen in the media quite a bit lately, is here to share his perspective on the impact of the IIJA with us and talk about how the Chamber is working to maximize those investments in our community. Pete?
Thanks, Thomas. Hopefully you all can see and hear me. Today's conversation with Governor Beshear highlighted just how important the recent passage of the federal infrastructure bill was for our community. I've been working on this for about the last 5 years, and I've always told folks I wasn't going to believe the bill was happening until it was signed, and we were lucky enough. Jill, our CEO, was lucky enough to be there when it signed, so we do know that the bill has been signed into law. Here at the Chamber, we've been working strategically with our elected leaders and our transportation partners, including the governors, as we talked today, but also our local city officials and county officials and transportation partners to make sure that the $1.2 trillion in the bill that was just passed by Congress can be brought to our region in significant ways. And that conversation begins with the Brent Spence Bridge, as the governor mentioned. And we're really excited about the opportunity, as Jill said, to be working with the governors and working with the departments of transportation to make sure that we are prepared to access and bring down those dollars. But this bill can do so much more than just replace an ailing piece of infrastructure that is a national need. We also know that there's record investments in public transit that will allow us to leverage the dollars we created locally from Issue 7 to make sure that we can implement the Reinventing Metro plan, build bus rapid transit. It brings zero emission vehicles to our community and connect people to jobs all across our tri-state region. We know too that there's an opportunity to build on the public and the private investments that have been made in bike trail infrastructure with the Cincinnati Crown plan that is coming into place, and to be able to complete that project in a way that meaningfully connects nearly 50 communities with bike and pedestrian trails and the types of infrastructure that allows you to get to the trail. Governor Beshear talked about the rapid transition to an electric transportation system, and this bill has significant new investments that will allow us to rapidly shift to a cleaner transportation system. And we're working hard to help develop and lead strategies that make that happen in our community, both for the economic development draw the governor talked about, but also to make sure that whether you're driving a car, riding on a bus, you're converting your fleets as a business, or your trucks, or even your bikes can all have a battery and use cleaner transportation. For nearly a decade, the Chamber has served as an advocate for developing a multimodal transportation system that meets the needs of our community. And there has been no more important time when it comes to federal investments in transportation than there is right now. And we are thrilled to be working with those partners. We're thrilled to be developing a strategic guide for how our community can be best positioned to bring those dollars home. And I would also add that we're really appreciative of the leadership of our members of Congress, from Senator Portman, Senator Brown, Senator McConnell, all of whom helped champion this bill. It would not have gotten done in the form that it is without their leadership. And so we're really excited to be in this place where we can now talk about investing in new projects that connect people to jobs, education, healthcare, all that our region has to offer to make sure that we can embrace growth for our community. So thank you, Thomas, for the opportunity. If you're a member who's really interested in this work, feel free to reach out, and we're excited about what's coming next.
Thank you, Pete, for your passion for the region and all the hard work you do. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Quick reminder, Jill talked about earlier, Diversity Leadership Symposium. I want to see you there. I'll be there. I want you to come up. I want to meet all of you. December 15th, 8 a.m. to noon, Duke Energy Convention Center. You can sign up online. And I want to thank you for spending the morning with us. And a big thank you to our partner, Bank of America, for sponsoring today's great event. I want you to mark your calendars to join us on January 6th, 2022 at 8 a.m. for our next monthly member briefing. Thank you again and enjoy the holiday season.